Well, market just closed, and I did have to just come and have a conversation with you. Number one, I want to talk to you about what happened today, what's going on, what's going to keep happening in the future, where I think things might break down or not break down. But I also want to tell you, this is one of the major reasons I just did this video. We're getting okay response to the Larry Goldberg video that just went up about an hour ago, but nothing like what it's worth. I keep trying to change the title, and it's just not getting the numbers. If you haven't seen the Larry Goldberg video yet, make a note to yourself. You want to watch this video. It is one of the most important videos I've ever done. It will teach you things about how VCs think. It'll teach you something about the robots and Optimus that you're maybe not be thinking about. So be sure and see that video. Okay, this is Randy Kirk. If you like, subscribe, notify. I am going to be all the next 3 or 4 or 5 days, I'm going to be updating all of my predictions, all of my analysis of where we're going in terms of numbers, in terms of profits, in terms of energy, in terms of the Inflation Reduction Act income that Tesla is going to receive. Just a bunch of these videos where I'm going to look at the numbers again and give you an update for this year, for this quarter, for all the full year for next year, and in some cases until the end of this decade. Anyway, hit notify if you want to be notified about those upcoming videos. And then finally, of course, Patreon. If you want to support the channel, I will be putting these numbers up on Patreon. They will be, the spreadsheets will be there for you to look at, to analyze and to think through. As soon as I finish them, I'll be putting them up on Patreon. So this is a great time to join Patreon. And by the way, there's currently a 7-day free trial. So you could jump in, take advantage for the next 7 days, and then, jump off again. All right, let's talk about what happened today. This is closing in on a record. I think the most days in a row that Tesla's ever been up is 11. Today was day 10. Tomorrow would make that 11. And we closed on the high. Now, there's a lot of analysis, people that say that, if you close on the high, you're pretty likely to continue on with that rally the following day. And the after hours, last time I looked, was showing a continued upward, continuing up. So, we're up a lot, right? And so there's a temptation to take some or a lot off the table and wait for the correction. And that's normal and natural. And I would say, yes, there's probably a correction going to happen, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough to justify taking it off the table now. Now, if you're playing around, and by the way, I'm not an investment advisor. This is not investment advice. This is just my understanding about how things work. If you're playing around within your pension, where the profits are not going to be taxed, well, that's a whole nother story. But if you're going to get taxed on the profits, this is not a time to sell Tesla stock. That's just my thinking. That's just me. That's what I think. Because why? Well, I said it the other day. Let me say it again for those of you who are not regulars on the channel. Technical analysis does work. Okay. I'm not a technical analyst. I broadly look at the technical situation. I know a lot about the candles and the 50-day moving averages, 200-day moving averages. I do not spend any time at all futzing with any of that stuff, even though I know something about it. But what I do look at are these points at which the stock hits and then reacts. And on the downside too, and I've made a fair piece of change over that in some day trading, in particular with leaps and options, where you can actually multiply your opportunity many times if you're right. And of course, multiply your negative reaction if you're wrong. But anyway, all I want to say is there is nothing stopping Tesla between now and 300. There's nothing. You can look back at the charts as long as you want. From now to 300, there's no resistance. You could say the resistance is at 297. You could say the resistance is at 303. You could say that it's the round number 300. I don't care how you want to figure that out. In round terms, there's no resistance until 300. Does that mean the stock won't go down between now and 300? Well, of course, there could be all kinds of news. Next week, the CPI, the PPI, the Fed, all that stuff happening next week. Maybe there's some surprises where the Fed does raise and says they're still not satisfied. Maybe the CPI is way worse than anybody's expecting. All kinds of things could happen. That kind of news, could break this rally, that could break this kind of momentum that's going on right now. And at some point, these things do exhaust themselves. But if you look back at some of the other run-ups on Tesla, the run-ups sometimes don't exhaust themselves for much longer than this. So I don't know. You don't know. We don't have crystal balls. All I'm saying is right now I'm a holder. I'm going to be holding till 400. I'm going to be holding till 500. I mean, I'm not planning to get out anytime soon, but I do have some leaps. And as I look at my leaps, I was thinking about today, should I sell the leaps today? And potentially I could maybe buy back in a couple of days, because there's going to be some kind of profit taking at some point, and maybe it'll be 5%, maybe it'll be 10%, and I could make money on that decision. I could buy back in a little lower on my leaps, and maybe I'd spread them out. Maybe I'd leap out further. Some of mine are expiring in June of next year, so maybe I could change those to June of 2025, where most of my leaps are sitting right now. So there's a lot of reasons why you might take that position at this moment in time. I decided no, and I can change my mind tomorrow. Maybe I'll let you know. Maybe I'll let my Patreon people know that I've changed my mind, and I'm gonna take something off the table in the leaps. But I'm not taking any of the stocks. I'm not taking anything off the stocks right now. No chance. I don't see any resistance until 300. I think there will be a lot of banging at the door at 300, unless and until the earnings comes out. Well, first of all, the numbers at the end of this month could be bigger, and I think they're 490. That could definitely continue the rally past 300. Maybe they're 505. Did I say 390, 490? Maybe it's 505. There's people that are suggesting that it could be 505. So if it goes 505,000 units, yeah, the rally continues. Believe me, it'll crash through 300 pretty easily. Maybe even at my number 490, it's going to crash through 300. And then when the earnings report comes out, if it's 21.5% margin or 22% margin, and the profits are what we expect them to be in energy, and the IRA money starts to show up, well, all of a sudden you could be well on your way to 350, which would be another pretty significant resistance area. Again, you can pick your number in that area, but there's a number in there. Then there's the third quarter. Then there's we've been through all these. Look at my video from the very first thing this morning. That is one of the hottest videos I've ever done. It's gotten more attention than I think it'll end up being the #1 video ever, is the video from first thing this morning. And then again, the Larry Goldberg video. You've got to watch that. I got to tell you, you got to go back and look at the Larry Goldberg video. Okay, so this is Randy Kirk. I've really enjoyed talking to you. See you later.